What's up, my dudes? And it's Sister Turley, and this is the track review of the 2016 World MXSGP Round 6 Teutschenthal? I don't even know how to say that, bro, so let's just get right here into it. So, I cannot believe people make these MXGP style tracks so well in this game. It just blows my mind every time I see it. Shout out to all of you guys that make the GP style tracks in this game, because they managed to nail that aspect of making it feel different than any US style track. And I know I've said this before in videos, but it's just amazing what they can do, and it's exactly the differences you would think they would be in real life as well too, and that's just what I cannot believe about it. And they do that part of it so well. So when you jump off of that single right there, you got to be a little bit careful, because your front end's going to try to get way too erect on you when you get back on the gas off of that single, landing on a really flat surface right there. So you either have to really be easy on the throttle, or you have to kind of short shift the bike a little bit if you're on a 450. If you're on a 125, just hold it wide open, bro, no problem about it. But I just thought I'd let you guys know there's a couple of little sections like that where if you're on a 450, it might get a little too peppy on you, so you gotta kind of chill out a little bit with that throttle. Well, I guess it all kind of depends on your setup too. I mean, that changes where you are on the bike and how easy the front end comes up, but everything affects everything. But I'm just saying there's a couple little tricky sections like that on this track, but I love the way they've built the roughness and the way that these corners feel. I wish they would make some of the 2016 AMA replica motocross tracks a lot more like this, and that's just my own opinion, but definitely let me know in the comments what you guys think. But wow, I love how they've made this motocross track right here. The roughness is just enough to where you can get going really fast, and it starts getting sketch balls on you a little bit, where your front end starts getting sketchy and your back end starts skating out a little bit. But it's not so much roughness that you just randomly flip over the bars for no apparent reason. It's that just enough choppy style roughness that it feels like a real life motocross track. Like, this kind of track right here actually feels like a real track to me, and I don't get that feeling from a lot of the 2016 AMA replica United States motocross tracks out there. So I wish they would make them a little more like these tracks, to be honest with you, because I love the way this feels just overall, and the way the actual tile map, the way the dirt feels, is that perfect amount of friction where it's not like sand concrete mixture, if that makes sense. I know that's kind of been this little bit of a trend people have been wanting to do with a lot of the 2016 AMA replica tracks, and really mainly every track out there kind of has this trend, and I've even put it on some of my tracks. Don't let me be some kind of dude that acts like I'm on a soapbox right now. I mean, I've done it with some of my tracks, but it's that, like, really just perfect brownie mixed dirt traction, and I feel like whenever you put that kind of traction on a track, it takes away so much skill from the track. I like tractions that feel like there's a little bit of a risk if you hammer the throttle too much in a corner, or you have some kind of sliding element there. It doesn't just feel like when you go into a corner you're just like glued to the corner. Oh my god, some Haas outside was revving his engine right there. Sorry about that, guys. But I love whenever the actual traction, you can get up to a good amount of speed. That's what I've noticed with a lot of these newer tracks that have that concrete mixed with sand kind of feeling. It's like you can never really get going very fast. It's like you just, for whatever reason, there's a lot of friction on the track, and it doesn't really take a lot of skill in the corners, because you're just like glued to the corner and you just hammer the throttle and your back end doesn't really spin much at all. And just to let you guys know, this is actually the medium graphical version of this track, so there could be some things missing, but I knew if I tried to go in there and download the ultra version, I would be running at about 5 frames per second right now. So I apologize for that. There may be some little random objects that aren't on this version that are on the ultra version, but I'm just rating this track as of what's on the medium version here. So I love the off track. I love just the unique sections that a lot of these MXGP style tracks have. It's awesome. Like, you come off of a single and land on totally flat, and then it's 2 super long straightaways, and then you come down this little bit of an off-cambered. I just love the width they've made this track. I love the jumps. All the off-track just feels like a real place, and that's one of the most important things. I know I've said it before, but man, and a lot of you guys will know what I'm talking about. Whenever you first start playing MX Simulator and you realize how realistic that bike feels, that's the same feeling you get whenever you get on a really well-made track. You actually feel like you're in a real place, and especially when you combine the bike feeling real and the track feeling real, you start not being able to tell if it's real life. Is this real life, bro? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how it gets. But look at just how they've done these natural hills and valleys. That is the hardest thing to do when you're making a custom track, because you're trying to go in there and make something that looks natural, and that's one of the hardest things to try to get right in this game for whatever reason. But when you nail it, it's amazing. So I love what they've done with this track. The roughness is pretty difficult, man. I mean, you'll bust a nut if you go into a corner too hot, but it's fun though. Like, it's a challenging roughness. It actually feels like the roughness makes sense, and that's kind of something on some of these newer 2016 motocross tracks that I've not really understood too much. Like, the roughness, the placement they've done with the roughness, just wowzers. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I don't know, when you start putting roughness in certain parts of the track and certain types of roughness, it starts to change the way the entire track feels. But obviously when you're a pro, you just got to rock on and ride whatever they make. But I'm going to give this track a 10 overall, and I'm going to say the difficulty is hard. So anyways, thanks for watching the video. Later, dudes.